I want to talk to you about Men in Black. These are supposedly secret government agents with agendas or aliens trying to manifest themselves in a human form. What's your take on Men in Black? Have you ever seen them? Have you ever talked to anybody that's encountered Men in Black?
I've met a lot of Men in Black. They're never any threat.
Okay, so
and they're nothing to do with you.
Okay, so that we dispel that. I want to ask you about USOs. That's unidentified submerged objects. Do you think that UFOs can go underwater?
I know they can.
Elaborate on that, please.
They go underwater all the time.
Because it's a great hiding place? They won't be disturbed?
Well, no, I wasn't there, but down here in Wallace Sands, the beach, Sunday afternoon. And this report came from England. There was a man there, apparently a UFO investigator visiting someone in this area. He's down on the beach. The UFO came along, died down in the water, and then later came up again. And the beach was crowded. Hundreds of people saw it.
Wow. There was an incident in New Hampshire where I believe around the time of your, no, I want to say maybe the late 60s, where something plummeted through the ice of a lake, which caused a stir and a commotion. Do you recall that incident?
Yeah. Yeah.
Can you elaborate on that, as to what you recall, or were you involved with that at all?
I'm trying to think of the man's name. He lives right up the street from my cousin. But I heard it and I called him. And then other organizations were calling P's to get information, and they were telling everybody to call me.
Ah, okay. So in other words, it was a cold winter's day. An object plummeted through the ice of a lake in New Hampshire.
This man was a contractor.
An odd green foam scene or something to that effect.
This man was a contractor. He built houses. And this is the middle of a blizzard. Heavy, heavy snow, 20 below zero temperature. And he's standing looking out the door when he sees that this pond, the ice is melted at 20 below zero. So he went out and saw that there was this rod at the bottom of this little pond.
And I believe a green foam or something like that,
No.
or so odd bubbling, or nothing?
Oh, he just saw it down there, and he was so puzzled, so he thought, well, he'd go get something and pull it out. And then, he got a rake, and told me he got out there, and he looked at it, and he said, what if it's electrical and it's in water? And I got a metal rake.
Mm-hmm.
I could get killed.
Sure, electrocuted.
So he said, well, he'd wait to see what happened. He went back in the house, and later a friend came, and he showed it to his friend. Now his friend called the police or somebody, and that's how they got involved.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And then, of course, the governor got involved. Everybody roped off the area. And
Meldrum Thompson, I believe, was
Yeah.
the governor at the time.
And they claimed they couldn't find anything. Other people claimed that they actually saw them take this rod-like thing out of the water and all.
Have you been to the Nazca Lines in Peru? Those are the depictions
Yeah,
on the Peruvian plains, the desert, that supposedly are runways or chariots of the gods. Eric von Daniken, who I'm sure you've met and spoken
Several
with.
times.
Several
We had a
times.
bottle of wine together.
Oh, is that
one night.
okay? All right. I had a beer with Stan Friedman. He's the Roswell researcher. So,
Stan Friedman was one of the first people not the first, but besides the ones from Washington, Stan was the first one we met who was not government connected.
a nuclear physicist, itinerant
Yeah, I
nuclear
think it was
physicist
out
at the
in-
time.
Bonnie and I were going to do a program, Phil Donahue show,
Mm-hmm.
and I think it was I'm not sure, Pittsburgh, and then Stan heard we were there and he called us and came by and we met. Yeah, and we still keep in touch.
You've been to Gulf Breeze, Florida, Pensacola, which is the site of Hurlburt Field, which is special operations, highly trained military operatives they're independent of the Army and Air Force. There are some of our highly skilled troops. You've got Eglin Air Force Base, highly sensitive installation.
Fort Walton Beach.
Fort Walton Beach, you know it. Pensacola Bay, and hence we have a man by the name of Ed Walters, November 1987.
I've been there.
Starts taking pictures of these odd crafts. People are saying they're hoaxed. I've spoken with Ed Walters. The jury's still out, in my opinion, on Ed Walters. A group forms called the Watchers. They sit at Shoreline Park looking over Pensacola Bay, Santa Rosa Sound every night and see what people say are UFOs on demand. I take the trip down to Gulf Breeze. I sit with these people, and they're oohing and ahhing at these red lights. I said, look, there's a UFO. I said, no, that's a plane, a taxiing plane on the way into Eglin. Well, what about that one over there? And I said, near the radio tower? They said, no, right there. And I said, that is the radio tower. Another one, woman says, we see these red lights traveling along the surface of Santa Rosa Sound. And I said, like those ones out there? She goes, there you go, UFO. And I said, they're car tail lights. You can see the car driving out. So I've sat with these watchers, and they cannot identify an aircraft, let alone a star in the sky. I think they were desperately wanted to see UFOs, and they got them, but they got mundane phenomena. What's your take on that?
Unfortunately, I don't think anybody. I saw the original tape that Ed Walters made of a UFO. It was a UFO. Now, I don't know about any enlargements or any of those things, but I also saw the spot where the UFO landed, left marks in the ground.
I don't have a beef
Now,
with
this was
with Walters.
Okay, first of all, I have friends that lived at Fort Walton Beach, and I go down and stay 3 or 4 or 5 days. Well, I would go down there, and people would ask me all about UFOs. And I would say, if you see a UFO, do what we do in New Hampshire. Take your camera and film it. And Ed Walters did.
Mm-hmm. And this footage was spectacular. The Watchers, meanwhile...
The original filming was not spectacular. It was just a plain, ordinary, red, glowing UFO.
Yep. And
it landed in the schoolyard.
And then
And it left marks.
And then the definition of the object took shape in the photographs. It was very
and
consistent.
the enlargement. I've never seen a UFO, that kind of UFO.
And if people...
But it could be.
People tried to claim that Ed Walters hoaxed it, yet there were other people that, unbeknownst to Ed Walters, that were seeing the exact same type of craft in the sky at the exact same time that Ed Walters was.
You know,
so, in my opinion, Walters could be the victim of a hoax, but he was not the hoaxer.
Look,
that's my opinion.
I talked with people. If all you got to do is go to Pensacola, go back to old newspapers, 1950, 1960s, and you're going to find all kinds of reports of UFOs.
They've been seen.
They're not new there. They've been there for years.
That's right. Now and again, I call Pensacola, Eglin Air Force Base, Area 51. Area 51 Gulf, though, I call it because it's a sensitive installation. We've got the Gulf Test Range where we run missile runs, torpedo runs we ran in World War II. We trained our pilots out there, but it's a sensitive area. And again, getting back to if UFOs are visiting, they're going to go to where the party is, where we want to know where the entertaining people are. You'd be over Los Alamos, you'd be over Sandia Laboratories in Albuquerque, you'd certainly go to Eglin, and you'd go, as we mentioned, Area 51. What's your take on Area 51, Betty? Do you think that they're hiding down?
I don't think that's UFOs.
Okay.
You know what I think it is? I think it's when we captured planes from other countries and we're testing them out. We did it at Area 51. Also, the last thing I read was that area was so polluted with radioactivity that they moved everybody out.
So you and I think alike in that respect. I think that there are black aircraft like the SR-71, the F-117 stealth fighter, B-2 bomber, and there are red aircraft, Operation Red Hat. They run red flag games out there whereby they take their enemy's aircraft, the Soviet Union MiGs, and they test them. They want to find their Achilles heel, their weaknesses, so you'll continually... So why not put up a UFO story? Yeah, we got flying saucers here, when the real agenda is we've got Soviet aircraft. You know, you can talk about UFOs there.
And if it's polluted with all this radiation.
Sure, I mean...
It's also could be a health factor.
There were a lot of nuclear shots out there. I mean, it's still cratered to this very day.
Yeah.
So we basically, in this interview, taken a walk across America, discussed Roswell, Gulf Breeze, Area 51, hot spots of UFO phenomena. Do you think the Great Lakes is a hot spot for UFOs? Do you believe in something like the Great Lakes Triangle, for instance?
Oh, I know there's a lot of sightings. They follow waterways.
Do you have any...
They go up the St. Lawrence River.